So, y'all get 2 videos in one day. Tigers signing, and then this one that I was planning on making anyway. But let's get into it. So, there were multiple people on social media talking about how the NCAA shouldn't have had the tournament in Indiana. And their points being, there's nothing in Indiana. At least pick a place that has direct flights to it. There are way better teams, and yeah, those are basically the 3 main arguments. Let's start with the first. There's nothing in Indiana. There is stuff in Indiana. Basketball is in Indiana. That's why we're being picked for basketball. You don't pick a place for a basketball tournament because they have an amusement park nearby. We're talking about basketball, not a family vacation. Are you smoking crack? Because I'm starting to think you are. Also, obviously there isn't nothing in Indiana because there's a city. And it's one of the fastest growing states because we have affordable housing and just nice people here. Don't use me as a representation of all people in Indiana. But, if you want to go by, let's pick a place based off of non-basketball stuff. Yeah, sure, Indiana's probably not the best place. But this is a basketball tournament. Basketball was popularized in Indiana. James Naismith, the creator of this game that apparently you people know nothing about the history of it, James Naismith himself said that basketball got its start in Indiana. Does that mean nothing to you when the creator of this great game says that Indiana is the place that popularized it? Or do you just not do history? Do you only focus on basketball present? You don't focus on basketball past or try to, predict basketball future. It's only basketball presents to these people, apparently. When I'm talking about these people, I'm talking about the people who don't think that the NCAA should have brought the tournament to Indiana. So there's that. The second one, at least pick a place that has direct flights. That's just basically joking about there's nothing in Indiana, but that makes no sense. At least be creative because there's an airport in Indianapolis. Also, again, nobody's even going to be allowed to the games. And again, we're not talking about a vacation. We're talking about a basketball tournament. And then the third one, talking about there are way better teams. Okay, yeah, sure. There are way better college basketball teams than Purdue and IU and Butler. But IU is one of the most storied franchises in basketball, in college basketball. I don't like IU, but even I know they're one of the most storied franchises. And Purdue, this season they've kind of sucked, but in the past few seasons they've been decent. Carson Edwards freaking took them to the Elite Eight, and it was amazing. In recent memory, Purdue's been a pretty good basketball team. And Butler, well, Brad Stevens, so recent memory. Also, let's go to Kentucky. What arenas are gonna be there? The Wildcats are a pretty good basketball team. What arenas are gonna be there except for the KFC Yum Center? Exactly. Whereas Indiana, you have Lucas Oil Arena, you have Bankers Life Fieldhouse, you have Mackey Arena, one of the best facilities in college basketball. You have IU's stadium, you have Butler's stadium, you have IUPUI stadium, which is surprisingly large. That's 6 major-sized stadiums right there. Well, maybe not IUPUI. That's about 5 major-sized stadiums right there. I ask you, what would be a better place to pick? And they're all within close proximity of each other. It might be. I think it might be a 2-hour drive from Indianapolis to Bloomington, but still, there's a lot of stadiums. There's a big fan base for college basketball in Indiana. Indiana is where basketball got its start. I ask you, why would they not pick Indiana? Why? Because you want to put it in California because there are more people there? and it's nicer weather there, that has nothing to do with the sport of basketball. Weather doesn't matter. They're playing indoors. People don't matter. There's not going to be anybody allowed to the games. And if there are, have you seen the games at Mackey Arena? Like, they're jam packed. And for IU games, they're also jam packed. Like, there is a very large fan base in Indiana. Pacers games, they're decently packed. And Lucas Oil Stadium has like a 60,000 seating capacity if you let everyone in. I ask you, how, like, what's wrong here? You don't like the cold? You don't like corn? You don't like farmers for whatever reason, even though they're pretty hardworking? Like, what is bad? What's the problem here? You want them to choose Florida so you can have an excuse to travel down to Florida or something? I don't understand what is bad about Indiana being picked, other than people don't know the history of basketball because they are special in their brain. I don't understand the problem here. Like, I feel like nobody remembers history, and nobody pays attention to who started up basketball. And I'm sure people in California are going to comment on this saying we popularized basketball. No, it got popular in the East, then you guys took it out West, and Indiana popularized it in the East. It went, it was in that Boston area. Then it got brought down to Indiana like a few years later. Then Indiana popularized it across the East. Then New York took it, tried to claim that they popularized it. Then California came, they took it and tried to claim they popularized it. It was Indiana. Indiana popularized it. Like, I don't. People are special in their brain, apparently. But, what would I know about the history of basketball? I'm some dumb redneck from Indiana who doesn't even live near. Well, I live near cornfields, but I don't even live in the country. But I'm sure I'm still a redneck because California out there, they love their crack, they love their weed, and they're just too high to realize that I'm not lying. And it's like there's already enough stuff in California and in New York and in Florida. Like, why can't we have something in Indiana? All you guys have the brands and the markets and all this. Why can't Indiana have something? Something that we grew from the ground up. There were more people at a high school basketball tournament in Indiana in 1915. There were more people. I think it was 1915. It was around early 1900s, early like mid 1910s, something like that. There were more people for a high school game than there were for the first NBA game. When that took place like 30 years later. Are like it's so obvious that Indiana loves basketball. But let's just ignore it because California freaking I don't know. This is so stupid. See you guys next time. Can't wait for angry city folk, as us Indiana country rednecks call you, city folk, to comment about whatever it is they have against Indiana for some reason.